What's going on, guys? So today we're looking at this awesome new Gundam The Origin kit. You guys saw the unboxing for this already, and it is the Mobile Worker, the MW-01 Model 01 Late Type MASH. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. I don't know if it's the character, because I do know there was a blue version that I think is Ramba Ral's, because I figured that everything that gets turned blue is Ral's. And of course, it is an autonomous Republic of Xeon prototype humanoid mobile weapon. It says autonomous. Is that just putting it out there? Is that true, guys? Because it has a cockpit right there. Does it really work on its own? If so, that's a little frightening, to be honest. But this is some really awesome box art. Like, you get a great shot of the mobile worker right here. You got the headlights going. Great eye glowing there. They've really got these lighting effects down on this, but no more than the sparks. This is ridiculous. I can't really tell what he's grabbing at. It's a chunk of something. You can't really tell. But these sparks really look amazing. Like, it's just some of the artwork on here, it's just absolutely beautiful and just ridiculous. And this is like just great. I mean, this almost looks real versus the slightly more cartoony version there. But this is just a really interesting kit, and I had a great plan for this that I will be following through. But let's go ahead and finish looking at the box. You get HG, Gundam the Origin, Gundam the Origin, Gundam the Origin, Bandai. And then, of course, you get all of that it says right there. Bandai 2015, blah, 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 blah. Look at the bottom. You get the obligatory front and rear shots. This box got a little worn out. I guess wherever I was keeping it, it got a little rubbed. This thing is cool. They always show it a little bit hunched over. You do get, the great big claw here, hand here, and tons of warning stickers. Now, mine is not going to have all that detail on it because I had to leave it unpainted for the time being. And then you get, obviously, a read up here. You can see the pilot there. I don't know nothing about nothing, but you do see two different ones fighting here. So obviously something happened in Gundam the Origin. I really need to watch it. They need to find somebody who's got a free version up, honestly. Daisuke had it free for a little while, but I don't think they still do. And then, of course, you get a read up here, Gundam the Origin 2, which I guess is obviously where this story came from. And then GundamTheOrigin.net. Gundam-the-origin.net. Okay. BandaiHobby.net. Great, of course, repeat of the artwork there. It's only number 6 in the Origin line. That's kind of cool. It was a little bit early. Come over here, and you get some more shots. This is pretty much the exact same shot, but in a different angle. And you see the claw there and there. I'm guessing it's showing off articulation. Well, it says markings. Never mind. So action, markings, whoop-de-doo. Something. I guess a shield. I don't know what it's talking about there. No idea there. Now it's talking about moving and gimmicks. Now it's talking about you can move the head up and down. You can turn the head. You can move the eye, but it's not going to move with the head. I'll try to show that off in the actual review. And you do get here where the legs do arrowy things and arms do arrowy things. Yeah. You get the obligatory warning of don't stick a mobile worker in your 3-year-old's face. Plastics might hurt people. Number 8. It is what it is. Little man with toilet. And then, of course, 1,800 yen. Nice price, decent cheap kit. And it is illustrated by Yuta Otani. And wow, I'm sorry, Yuta Otani does some amazing work. This is just beautiful. I'm sorry. It's always upside down, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Even these sparks upside down are just beautiful. So that's it for the box. Let's go ahead and get to the build on this. He's a dookie. Yeah. You don't want to help me build new gunpla, do you? He's a cute little boy. Come on. Oh, he's a good dookie. Yeah, he is. He's a good duke. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Hey, Duke, smell? It's not food. What is it? What is it? You don't know. Okay, good boy. Alright guys, now the build montage is done. Here we have the awesome mobile worker. This thing, I really enjoyed this build. Like, it was just something about it, something the way it went together. It was so different from anything I've built. I just absolutely fell in love with this thing as I was building it. Like, I dug the design, like the just big, chunky, very construction-y suit, and this thing is it's just crazy. It does have one or two small flaws, and I'm sure they will come up as I'm trying to review it without me even telling you, but this thing is great. The level of detail in the sculpt, in the molding is just absolutely ridiculous, and I just love this giant like block of a shield. This thing is just great. I didn't even consider that you could totally turn it this way. It's a little limited. Like the articulation is actually very good for something of this design, and I'll show it off in a second. But in a couple places, it's actually kind of limited, and I don't like it. But for the most part, this thing, it went together in a few hours, and even as a straight build, it took me a little while. And as I was building, I'm just thinking, this is not constructed in any way like anything I've built. Any of the HGs, any of the master grades I've built lately, just it's not even close. And being a Xeon suit, of course, you got to have these hoses, which we'll talk about. Let's go ahead and finish the walk around here. But this thing is just so cool. Now, we'll do a little bit of a close-up here on the head, if I can get it. Get the shield out of there. Move your shield, little guy. All right. This head, I like the nice Xeonic head sculpt. That's actually really cool. And of course, it puts the weird dividing part down the middle, which I would think means he can't look straight. You can barely see it back in there, but I do have the eye painted right in there. I'll probably take the head off and show that off here in a second, if I can actually get it apart. See, one thing that sucks, like I said, you can turn the eye, but it doesn't turn with the helmet. So it kind of plugs in right down here, and you can spin it. But you can see that's the only level of detail paint that I did. They give you a sticker for it. I just didn't want to use it, so I just painted it with some silver and then a clear red just to make that eye work. And then, of course, the helmet just plugs back on, like so. Nice and easy. But yeah, the detail. Look at these headlights. These look like nice classic car almost like a taxi, at least what I see. You know, some great headlights. You can get the big either rivets or bolts sticking out there. Look at the cockpit, or at least what I think is a cockpit. Look at the molded detail there. I mean, even here we can see the top of the hatch molded in really nice. These great winches right here, even though they aren't real, which I might play around with customizing that a little bit. I love the fact they have these things here, the little winches with the two different hooks. That's just amazing, amazing little detail. They didn't have to include. Coming here to the shoulders around those ports, look at all the bolts sticking out there, all the bolts and rivets. Same thing up here. All of it, instead of just being like just a normal panel line, stuff like that, you get all of this like heavy duty kind of construction. It's just great. I mean, even right here on this part right here, which I'm guessing is another kind of tie down or something. And then even back here, you get some nice molded in details all the way around on this backpack. Even down here. It doesn't really have thrusters, I don't think. Sorry. I think these might be maneuvering thrusters, but that's it. And then, of course, you get the peg hole. Now, you guys will notice I'm not using a stand because this guy stands so well, he didn't need it. And actually, look at these hoses. Look at that. Look at that great, great molded rubber detail there. That is just amazing. I mean, it almost looks like a snake. I really, really dig that. Back of the shield has no detail. And this is obviously one problem. It just flip-floppies wherever the heck it wants. But yeah, I really, really do dig this guy. Oh, actually, you know what? Without me even noticing, this is what one of the problems happened. That hose popped right off. These. Since it came up already, this dumb thing, this is the only way you have to plug it in. Just this little nub and this little nub down here. And it plugs in on both ends. Because it's a soft, or a super soft rubber plugging into a nice, decently hard plastic, it takes some finagling to just make sure it stays. And of course, you don't get like a confirmation click or anything. So you can get it back in there, but it pops out so easy. It drives me nuts, guys. It really does. Let's go ahead and just talk accessories real quick because this guy has very, very few. And that was one of them that just popped off. Okay, so the shield is the only like external accessory you get. And it just has this nice big, you know, wavy handle there. Then you get, with that shield, you get a nice little fist hand that only has that one tiny connection pin right there. And that actually makes it a little difficult. But the cool thing is you can just pull that right out. And you do get an open hand that has a completely hollow palm. Like usually they'll make this the other way where the back side of the hand is hollow and you cover it, but this time they did it backwards for whatever reason. So he can get a nice expressive hand. Yay. 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 Of course that'll come in handy with the high teacher here in a little bit. Alright, let's get the shield out of the way and the little bro fist. Let's talk articulation. We'll start back at the head where we were. You do get a very interesting kind of neck joint here where he can tilt it back. See, that part all comes out like that. And then you can go all the way around. It is just a ball joint. It's not our standard HG polycap head, and I like that. It's a good solid connection there. The shoulders are such a different story. The way they're constructed is a little weird. So you get these like two pieces sandwiched on there, and then you get another piece on a rotation joint that plugs in back here. So you can see I just pulled that shoulder all the way out there. So you can do a reverse shrug like that, which is awesome. Or you can accordion it out and get a wider stance. That's just great. I love that. And then the upper arms plug in into that instead of having to be plugged in back here. So you can go all the way around on both sides. A little difficult with, except see, that hose popped off. Just a little bit of prodding and it pops right off. And of course, you can't really get a good high teacher here. Because you do get the tiniest bit of bicep rotation right there. But that's it. It's very limited. So you can sort of do that. Hi. Or if you want to do this way, he can be yelling really expressively. Hi. You know. So, I mean, I love the way the shoulders work. I love how the whole machinery works. I do wish you got, like, maybe an actual joint up here. Maybe you get a long kind of elbow joint. But it is what it is, guys. Speaking of elbows, he does have one. It's a really, really weird. So, oh, I guess it is actually. It was stuck earlier, so I guess I didn't realize it. It is a double jointed elbow here and here. I guess the way I constructed it, I never even realized it. It was only moving back here before. So, there we go. You can't quite touch his own arm, but it's a nice joint nonetheless. And you get these big old chunky hands, which it does rotate right there, and you do get a little bit of a pivot for the wrist due to the polycap there. Even on the giant claw side, it's very different because this whole connection is a very different connection. So you can pivot it just a little bit, and of course you can rotate. And then each claw here is articulated on its own. Doesn't crunch or anything, it just does what it do. So this one popped off, and this one is being taken off. Let's see here. You do get a big old rotation joint in the middle, like so. And since we're talking about the waist and the crotch area, look at this. I like this design. I don't know what it is. Normally they're not upturned. They're kind of downturned or flat. That is like a big vent, like right there. I mean, it's just really cool. And then you get the same rivet joints or bolts. Oop, I can't even point at it. Right in there for the sockets for the legs. Now the sockets for the hips are exactly the same as the sockets for the shoulders. So look at that. You can get a really wide spread thing there. And then if you rotate it, when you get all the way out, you get a much wider stance with the legs. That's just awesome. So you can really give this guy some heft. Really open it up. I like that. I really, really like these hips. And then instead of pegging in that way, it is a standard ball joint on this side. So realistically, your hips can only pick up about that far. He's not going to do a Jean-Claude. Now see, look, this hose popped off too. I'm going to go ahead and remove them all because they annoy me at this point. They look great. They're really annoying. Yeah, so no Jean-Claude out of this. You do get pretty much barely limited leg movement there because he's got no kind of skirts. He can squat really good. And then he can come all the way back this way, kick himself in the butt. This thing reminds me so much more of a toy than a model. Like the colors, the way it's molded, just the clunkiness of it. I love this thing. Now the knees are really interesting, and I don't know why they're like this. It's a kind of a free floating knee. You can go forward, you can go back. Like instead of stopping the knee, it can come all the way forward like that. Now I guess you could do almost digigraded to a degree, maybe. Your ankle joint allows for that a little. I don't know if maybe it walks like boom and then something like that. No idea. I've never seen it in action. I didn't watch Origin, like I said. But that's just a great little thing. And it allows for some interesting poses and articulation. Because if you get the feet laid out, first of all, that's about all I need to explain. You can do this. I don't know why you would, but you can. But I guess it's so you can probably allow him to bend. He could bend over way more than his waist would allow. So if you're like using that, and then he can straighten up like so. I mean, I don't understand why you would do that. It's a large piece of construction battling equipment. But it's just, this thing is so posable. It's actually very expressive for something only with one eye. Yeah. Oh, man. And, of course, I already hinted at the ankles. They're just kind of a standard ball joint swivel right there. You can't turn it all the way around. But like I said, why would you ever want to turn your foot all the way around? And you do get some nice toe pivot. So you could even, if you really want to. Not that you'd want to, but you can. You can totally. Ta-da! Is awesome. Honestly, I think I'm going to do a best kits of 2016, at least that I've built, and I think this guy is probably going to end up at the top. I'm not even going to lie, guys. This thing is so friggin' cool. I love the posing. It feels good. The plastic feels nice. I do love the big old giant shield. The hands. Now, in final construction with this, I would definitely glue these in place. Just a little dab of super glue, glue the tips in place, because they are never going to stay. I can feel it right now. There's just, even these, the same kind of little plug at the end. It goes into the backpack, and then a little slot goes up here onto the shoulders. They don't want to stay in. They get knocked off real easy. So those are going to be a thing in and of themselves. Now, as I keep saying, this is for a different project. And now is a good time to reveal that project, because you guys know the last thing I built was the Origin gun tank. So here it is. I mentioned it before. This is for kit bash. This is what it's getting bashed with. Oh, let the imaginations fly. I'm not going to completely reveal it yet. There will be build videos. But I was just going to go ahead and show this, because this is what's happening. This and this are going to become at least one or potentially two separate kits. And there will be videos on those as well. And they will be getting at least one custom paint job to go with it. I have had this planned out ever since I saw this was a thing. And now I can actually pull it off. So that's going to be it for the Mobile Worker review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Go get this kit. It's cheap and it's awesome. If you can find the blue one and it's not too expensive, because I think it's Piggy Bandai, get it too, just so you have two of them. So literally like Rock'em Sock'em robots. Oh, I didn't even talk about this. Hold on. That's not it for this review, guys. The gimmick behind this is the same as the, and once again, I haven't built that kit, but the Goof Origin with the swappable hand gimmick. So you can totally unplug that, and you get this great little socket here. You totally undo these clamps. You pull this one off. And because this is all I have at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and just swap this over here. Like so. And then, of course, if you want a left hand on your right hand, you can totally do it over here. But that's not really what it's for. But with the Goof prototype, which I do have, but I probably may not end up building, we'll see. It has different swappable hands for different weapons, and that's just awesome. And they're the exact same design as this, so you can actually swap those Goof hands onto here. That may or may not come into play. We'll see. And I think if you really tried, I mean, they're totally a different size. Something could be adapted for this, I bet. Hold on, let me see something here, guys. I want to see the something. Oh. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Okay. I knew at some point the construction was similar, but that won't work. I was hoping that you could plug this into this. But whenever I get into the kit bash, I'll see what works, what doesn't. Alright, so now that's it for this kit. I didn't want to have to add a whoopsie edit. So this is the end. This is awesome. Go buy this. It's great, guys. And I'm going to zoom out slightly. And remember to always keep on building, guys.